Welcome in to another episode of the Someone Six Sports Blizzard. Today I have Chris and um, what did you think of the Argos game last night?
Hello, everybody. Chris Pomay here, host of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the Small Talk Podcast, the Argo Belts Podcast Show, and I do freelance media coverage of the Canadian Football League's 19-time Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. And Robbie, thank you for having me on your show tonight. And I was at the game last night at BMO Field, rainy BMO Field. It was raining there. By the way, they do a great job on the grass. Even though it rained heavily for like 3 hours, the grass field held up, and they use the same grass field for the Toronto FC, the soccer team, and they do a really good job. And with BMO Field, for those people who've never been there, it's the home of the FC soccer team and the Argonauts. It's an outdoor stadium, but they have four side roofs to it. So most of the people in the stands are covered by the roofs even during the rain. So I guess it's not the same as the Bills' new stadium, but I think the Bills' new stadium where people are going to get covered at least with the roofs. Like it's an open air stadium, the new Bills stadium, but the design is going to protect probably 75% of their fans from the elements. But yeah, Argos came into this game 1-5, and Robbie, they hadn't won a home game this year. They were 0-3 at home, and this was their worst home record since 2019. So they got the win 31-17 over Winnipeg, and these two teams have met in the Grey Cup, which is our version of the Super Bowl, twice in the last 3 years. And Winnipeg has now lost three in a row. They're 3-3. They're still in a playoff position. The Argonauts, for them to have any chance to get in the playoffs with that 1-5 start, there's still 12 games left, or now 11 games left. Every game now, the Argos really have to win. They don't really have a lot of room for setbacks. Now, the CFL is a lot different than the NFL. The NFL's got 30 teams and way more playoff teams. CFL, Canadian Football League, only has 9 teams, and 7 out of the 9 get in right now. So, right now, Ottawa and Edmonton. As of right now, Ottawa, the Red Blacks, and the Edmonton Elks would not get into the playoffs right now. So that was a huge win for the Argos against Winnipeg, a very good team. And the Argos and Blue Bombers play again this Friday. Yes, they play Friday, August 1st in Winnipeg at Princess Auto Stadium. And Zach Collaros, the Bombers starter, left that game with an injury. And also, I want to mention this Toronto Argonauts starting quarterback and Buffalo, New York native and hero, number 12, Chad Kelly, the only Kelly to win a championship, a Grey Cup with the Argonauts. Chad broke his leg and ACL, apparently, I guess. He had a serious injury last November in the East Final against Montreal. So Chad Kelly has not played this year, and the Toronto Argonauts last night announced they're putting him on another 6-game injured list. So right now the Argos have played 7 games. So Chad Kelly will be out for at least 6 more. So he really, if he comes back this year, Robbie, and for people watching this show, it probably won't be until maybe middle of September, possibly. So towards the end of the season, but we'll see. Right now, Nick Arbuckle is their starting quarterback, and he was the one that played in the Grey Cup last year and beat Winnipeg and won the Grey Cup MVP. So Nick Arbuckle, he's kind of like a Nick Foles type quarterback, a journeyman quarterback, and he did a good job. Last night, Nick Arbuckle, 22 for 31, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's not a mobile quarterback. Okay, Nick Arbuckle is not Josh Allen. Nick Arbuckle ran the ball 3 times, which is a lot for him. 32 yards. So Nick Arbuckle was outstanding. The Argos last night had 457 yards of offense, 321 yards in the air, 116 yards on the ground, and the defense got five takeaways. Actually, four. The defense took the ball away four times with two interceptions and two fumbles. And also the special teams got a fumble as well. All three units, Robbie, you know this in football, NFL, CFL, college football. You need your special teams, you need your defense, and you need your offense to all play well. And the Argonauts probably played their best game of the year. And Robbie, what were your thoughts watching it on CBS Sports Network through the TSN feed here?
I think, well, it looked like the defense was playing good last night, and then they had like a nice long touchdown pass there too.
One of the first, what Robbie, what I thought as a media, Winnipeg had the ball first. Toronto won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. Winnipeg had the ball first. They picked up a first down running the ball, and then Winnipeg did nothing on that first drive. Toronto's defense held them. Argos got the ball back, and the Argos haven't used a lot of trick plays this year. First play from line of scrimmage, Arbuckle handed the ball to wide receiver Jerian Grant. He's a wide receiver. He's a special teams guy. He's not a quarterback, and he's not really a receiver. And he threw the ball down the field 41 yards to Devarius Daniels. I think it was Daniels or Coxie, and they made a big catch, and that was huge. That trick play caught Winnipeg off guard, and the Argos ended up getting a touchdown. Obviously, Liam Halarua, their kicker, he missed the extra point. First time he's missed an extra point all year. That gave the Argos a 6-0 lead. Winnipeg did come back to take a 10-9 lead, and then the Argos were up 25-10 at halftime. Second half, Winnipeg did outscore Toronto 7-6. The Bombers had 17 points in this game, but really only 10 because the Argonauts running back LeBourne, he fumbled the ball. Winnipeg picked it up and returned it for a touchdown. So the Toronto Argonauts defense was huge in this game.
Yeah, the defense was huge, and
sorry, Robbie, it's just a Wi-Fi issue.
And then
I'm back.
And then like they had like a few nice plays from Nick also.
Yeah, Nick Arbuckle was good. DeMonte Coxie, the wide receiver who could play in the NFL, by the way. For those people here in the States, they think, oh, CFL second rate. CFL has been around since 1958. It's been around even before that. And a lot of these guys come from the States and they don't realize how difficult this game is. And DeMonte Coxie is a really good receiver, and I do believe he could play in the NFL. There are some guys in this league that could play in this game. It's a different league. It has 3 downs instead of 4, Robbie. It's got a wider field, longer fields, and the goalposts are at the goal lines and not at the end of the end zones. So I love the NFL too, but I love the CFL. But yeah, Coxie had a big game. David Onger had a good game. Devarius Daniels picked up some catches. The offense was spread, and I did some interviews after the game as well. But Toronto really played well. Winnipeg, they've got some injuries to deal with, and Zach Collaros, he's about 38, 39 years old. Robbie, he's played in the CFL for like I think 15 years now. He's American and he played at the University of Cincinnati. So he came over from the States and had to learn how to play in the CFL. Zach's got 3 Grey Cup rings. He's been in 6 Grey Cups. He's probably, when he retires, he's probably going to be in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame as a quarterback. But he's taken a lot of hits. He's had a lot of concussions, a lot of injuries. So I don't know if he's even going to start this Friday against Winnipeg. The Argos and Bombers are playing a back-to-back series within less than a week. But the Argos really need this game as well, because if they lose, they'll be 2-6, and that's not good. Winnipeg, this game Friday night is going to probably have more of a playoff feel than now. The Argos were 2-5, not a great record, but they came off an impressive win against Winnipeg at home, and they're trying to build momentum and try to get back into a playoff spot. Winnipeg cannot afford to lose 4 straight games. Right now in the CFL West, there's 5 teams in the CFL West for your audience who doesn't know the CFL. Right now, Saskatchewan is the best team in the Canadian Football League right now. They're 6-1. Calgary, who's come out of nowhere, they're a dark horse. They're 5-2. Winnipeg right now is in third place at 3-4. Or sorry, 3-3. BC is 3-4, and then Edmonton is 1-5, and they're pretty well out of it. So the Bombers Argos game on Friday in Winnipeg is huge because Winnipeg is desperate not to lose 4 straight games, and the Argonauts don't want to go to 2-6. So it's going to be huge. And yeah, Chad Kelly, the Buffalo native, is out for at least another 6 games. And I don't even think we're going to see him this year with his injuries. And last year, Chad was out most of the year with a 9-game suspension. And I'm going to tell you this to your audience, Robbie. He's on a last chance agreement with the CFL. He had some, I won't go into the details, but Chad hasn't really played much football the last 2 years. He is a talented athlete. He's a talented quarterback, but he hasn't really played much the last 2 years. So going forward, I think Nick Arbuckle is going to be their starter the rest of this year, but we'll see what happens.
The is there a game going on
right now?
in the
Yes,
CFL?
there is, sir. Yeah, right now they're at halftime. BC 20, Hamilton 13. Hamilton is 4-2 in second place in the East behind Montreal, who's 5-2. BC is 3-4 just behind Winnipeg. So yes, right now at halftime, BC Lions 20, Hamilton 13. You can listen to that game on the Tiger Cats audio network through tigercats.ca, and it's also, I believe, on CBS Sports Network. So for those in the States that have CBS Sports Network, it should be on. They pick up the feed from TSN. TSN is called the Sports Network. It's our version of ESPN, Robbie, and they do a really great job with the CFL coverage. And last night I got to speak to one of the analysts, Dwayne Ford, who played college university football here in London, Ontario with Western, and he was a Grey Cup champion with the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts. He does a great job. And last night it was Marshall Ferguson and Dwayne Ford. So the guys that called the game last night, I got to speak to them there as well. And Robbie, did you see all my social media content, my pictures, my videos, and post-game interviews I did as well?
Yeah, I saw them on TikTok, Instagram.
I think the Bills should look at John Haggerty, the punter, who's an Australian punter. He's one of the best in the CFL. And their kicker kicked for the Dallas Cowboys at one point, Liam Halarua. He was a Dallas Cowboys kicker. I hope I got his last name right. He's a 2-time Grey Cup champion with the Toronto Argonauts. He had 6 field goals last night, 6 for 6 in field goals, and he surpassed over 1,200 points in his Canadian Football League career. And I think the Bills could use both of them. And you know what? Doesn't matter, Robbie, if it's American football, Canadian football. You need your punters, you need your kickers, and you need your special teams units to do well. And last night, the Argos did well. The only concern I had is they had the ball in Winnipeg territory deep a lot. And Liam is a great kicker, and it's nice to get those field goals. But if they could have just got even 1 or 2 more touchdowns last night, this game would have been a blowout. Like it wasn't like you look at the score 31-17, pretty close game. Not really. The Argos really dominated this game, and if they could have scored just 2 more touchdowns or even 1 more touchdown, this game would have been a blowout if that could have happened. But hey, a win's a win, and hopefully they can get their 3rd win of the season this Friday against Winnipeg at Princess Auto Stadium. And Winnipeg is hosting the Grey Cup this year. And Nick Small was at the game last night, the co-host of the Argo Bounce podcast show, a weekly show devoted to the Toronto Argonauts. Nick was there, but he was sitting in the VIP seats. I guess he won a VIP thing, so he was in the suite, and he watched the game and had buffet. And I was up in the media press box, so I was on the 55-yard line. And the American people in Buffalo, what the hell is the 55-yard line? CFL's got a bigger field, and we have like a 55-yard line. So I was sitting right there. So the weather it was warm last night, but it rained for about 2 or 3 hours. But you could see on TV how well that grass field held up. So there's no reason why the new grass field going into the Bill Stadium can't be like the one in Toronto.
Do you, um how do you think, like, in the NFL, um like the special teams, like for Philadelphia or Buffalo, could be going into the season?
I like Philadelphia special teams and Buffalo. Tyler Bass, he can be good at times, but then there's times he's not any good. But um, I think it's important to have a good kicker and a good punter because a punter can change the complexion of a game with changing the field position and a field goal. Nowadays, these kickers. The other night, Robbie, I watched the CFL game and Montreal won the game on a 58-yard field goal. Everyone talks about the American kickers being able to hit 60, 65, maybe 70 yards one day. The CFL kickers are just as good here. And Montreal won a game the other night by 2 points because of a 58-yard field goal. I think the Argos have a very good special teams unit, especially with Liam Halarua, if I can pronounce his last name right, and John Haggerty. He is an Australian punter. He came from Australia and he's been with the Argos for a couple years now. He is very good, and to be as far as I'm concerned, John Haggerty should be in the NFL. But I want him to stay with the Argos, obviously. But it's very important, and it's not an easy role. Your center, the snapper, has to do their jobs. The special teams line has to block to make sure the kicks don't get blocked or screw ups happen. So everybody has to do their jobs on special teams. Tyler Bass, he's got a great leg. He can hit from 65 yards. It's consistency. Anytime you're a punter or a kicker, it's not always punting the ball for 75 yards or hitting 70-yard field goals. It's about making sure you're consistent with your kicks. As a punter, you want to be consistent and you want to be smart about where you kick the ball to. And as a field goal kicker, you want to have a consistent kicking motion as well. You're obviously not going to hit every kick, so you have to block out the misses as well. Because if being a field goal kicker, uh, Robbie, from talking to Liam and other kickers in the CFL, it's like the NFL. It is mental too. It's not just physically, it's mental because sometimes things don't go right. Kicks get blocked, your accuracy. And I talked to John Haggerty at the end of the game last night. I did a post game interview with him, and he told me, and he's a Toronto Argonaut. BMO Field is probably the toughest stadium in the CFL to punt the ball. It's because the winds, the stadium is maybe a mile away from Lake Ontario, and the winds pick up around that stadium. So that's another factor too. And the same with the kickers in Buffalo. They got to deal with winds, and it can affect a punt. It can affect a field goal kick. So yeah, he told me the two hardest stadiums in the CFL to punt the football are BMO Field and Hamilton Stadium.
What is the hardest stadium to kick in the NFL?
I personally I've heard this from a number of people. I guess they don't call it Heinz Field in Pittsburgh anymore. I'm gonna still call it Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I know they changed the name of it, but I've heard this from a number of people. Heinz Field in Pittsburgh is probably the toughest stadium to kick in. I know the Bill Stadium can be hard too for the wind. So I would say my two would be Pittsburgh and Buffalo for the NFL.
Um,
Keep the questions coming in, Robbie.
like, I see, like, the Toronto Blue Jays are leading the AL division.
Best record in baseball right now.
And
They lost
the
today.
Orcas.
They lost today 10-4 to Tigers, but I was upset. The Tigers were up 10-0 in the ninth inning, and then the Blue Jays scored 4 runs, and I'm like, ugh. But the Blue Jays have the best record in baseball, and they've been playing well for 2 months. Robbie, since you're based out of Buffalo, New York, a lot of these Blue Jay guys, and you know this from me doing some media work, freelance media coverage of the Buffalo Bisons, they came up from Buffalo. So let's give Casey Candell, the the Buffalo Bisons manager, a lot of credit. And the Blue Jays right now have nine, I think at least nine Buffalo Bisons from last year on their team. Barger, Clement, Schneider, Davis Schneider, Alan Roden, Joey Lupo Fido, Nathan Lucas, Tyler Heidemann, Mason Fluharty, who I've interviewed down in Buffalo, and Leo Jimenez. So Casey Candell and the Buffalo Bisons organization deserve a lot of credit for the Blue Jays' success, and I hope the Buffalo fans will come out and support the Bisons. I know the Bisons' record this year is not very good. The first half of the season they were 30-43, and then the second half the Bisons are 9-16. So the Bisons overall are 39-59. And obviously the Bisons as an organization, they want to win. But they also, their main objective, they want to win, obviously, for the fans. But their main objective is to develop players and get them prepared for the major leagues. And they've done a great job. So I really think Casey Candell, the Buffalo Bisons organization, Brad Bisbing, Pat Malacaro, everybody that's organized in that organization, especially Brad Bisbing, the assistant general manager, they do a really good job with giving the Bison's players the right facility to train and work out. And Casey Candell, as far as I'm concerned, I've interviewed him a number of times. I think he would make a great Major League Baseball manager. But Casey has been in Buffalo for 5 years, so the Buffalo Bison fans and the city of Buffalo are very lucky to have him because he's a great manager. He knows the game. And he can still relate to the players. Casey's a former Major League Baseball player with the Montreal Expos, the Cleveland Indians when they were called that, and the Houston Astros as a second baseman. So Casey played the game and he can still relate to the players. And I think his best strengths as a manager is how to communicate with his players and get them to play hard, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like being out there watching the Bisons with Casey Candell, and I think I think Casey's doing a good job managing the team in Buffalo.
I absolutely agree. And like I said, their record doesn't indicate what they're doing well. And like I said, hopefully they can get some more wins. The good news is the Bisons did take 3 out of 4 this weekend on the road against Columbus. So that is definitely a positive. They won a series 3 out of 4. So I think hopefully they can keep winning some games. Like try to win every series, 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 or whatever. But I think Buffalo fans need to go out to Salem Field and support this team because you're seeing future Blue Jays, and this Blue Jays team is as good as anybody right now. I know Vlad Guerrero Jr. is not having a great year, but Bo Bichette is doing great, and Addison Barger. These guys are playing together as a team. Like they lost today to the Tigers. The Tigers were desperate for a win. So, but you know what? Even though they lost today, the Blue Jays still have a 4 or 5 game lead on the Yankees in Boston. I really think I'm not a fan of the American League East. I think the Yankees are overrated. I think Boston is still developing, but they're not ready to contend yet. Baltimore is awful, and Tampa Bay, I, I don't know about. So I really think if the Blue Jays keep playing well, and they don't get injuries, the Blue Jays should win the American League East. For having the best record in baseball by October, I don't know yet. I'm hoping the Tigers have just lost 12 out of the last 14 games. I'm hoping the Tigers can start winning a game. My only concern is peaking. The Blue Jays have peaked right now, and can they keep this hot play up in August and September before the playoffs start in October? Last year the Tigers they struggled until August, and then the Tigers in August, September, October were unbelievable. I'm not saying that's a good way of doing things, but The Blue Jays, my only concern is eventually they're going to have a stretch where they're not going to play well. So we'll see. But I really think the Jays should win the American League East. The Tigers, they had a 14 and a half game lead in the Central, now a 7 game lead. But I got to look at it this way. The Tigers are still in first place in the Central. They're still in a playoff spot. They're still 16 games above 500. So 12 out of 14 games for losses is bad, but it's not like the Tigers are out of it. I'm hoping the Tigers can add some bullpen arms at the trade deadline and another big bat. So fingers crossed. As for the Blue Jays, they signed Vlad Guerrero Jr. to a 13, 14-year contract, $500 million. Bo Bichette is having an outstanding year this year. He's a free agent. You gotta pay Bo Bichette the money. But then if you pay him 450 million dollars, you're gonna have almost $1 billion tied up between him and Guerrero. So I do believe Bo Bichette will finish this year with the Toronto Blue Jays. But as for Bo Bichette being a Blue Jay next year in 2026, I don't know. I had the pleasure of meeting Bo Bichette when he was down in Buffalo last year on a rehab assignment, and really quiet, humble guy. And his dad Dante was there too. His dad Dante Bichette was a Major League Baseball player with the Angels and Milwaukee Brewers. So the Blue Jays signed Bichette. That's great, but you're going to tie up a lot of your payroll on 2 players. So I don't know. I really don't know if Bichette will be back with the Blue Jays next year. But wherever Bo Bichette ends up, Robbie, he's gonna get 400, $500 million because he's very good offensively. He's a young player and defensively he's very good. So he's gonna get his money whether it's in Toronto or somewhere else as well, Robbie. Have you been to any Bison's games this year?
I've went down to a few games for them, and the one game I went to, they had a walk off single.
Cool. You like some of their promotions?
Yeah, like the Friday night bashes I like.
They do any bobblehead doll nights this year?
Um, they they haven't yet. No,
Haven't they done one of you yet? No,
no.
no. By the way, I'm going to give you an update on the CFL game. BC and Hamilton are in the third quarter right now. BC is home in BC. They're winning 23-20 with 2:22 to go in the third quarter. So 23-20 BC going towards the end of the third quarter. And you notice in the CFL, a majority of the games come down to the last play. Every game, most of them are very competitive. There's hardly any blowouts. Once in a while, you do see them, but very close game. But yeah, as for the Bisons, like even though the record's not very good, I would still continue going down there to the ballpark because you're seeing future major league players getting developed down there and they're doing a great job. And that's where it starts in Major League Baseball is through the minor league system, Robbie. That's how you win. And Bo played down in Buffalo, so has Vlad Guerrero Jr. So credit to the Bisons. And as for the Blue Jays, I think they're on the road still. I think they're off to Baltimore for a 3 game series. They should win that series, probably sweep Baltimore, but who knows nowadays. And one thing I've learned in sports, Robbie, records don't always mean you're going to win. You still got to play the game on the field. You don't just show up and that's it. You know what I mean? So they should take care of the Orioles in Baltimore, but anything can happen there as well.
Um, Max Scherzer was down in Buffalo recently also for the one game that I went to.
Yes, the former Detroit Tiger. Obviously at 41, he's not going to be their number one starter. I think if they keep him as the number 4 or number 5 starter, I think he can be okay. My concern with him is his age, a lot of wear and tear on his arm, and he's had an injury history the last couple years. So I think if Matt Scherzer can stay healthy as the number 4 or number 5 starter, and they don't make him pitch 7, 8, 9 innings. Let's say they keep Max Scherzer to 5 or 6 innings per start. I think he can be effective, but he's not at the point where he can be the dominant number 1 starter anymore, just because of age and wear and tear and his injury history. So I think if they what's the word I'm looking for? Like they do with basketball players, load management. If they keep Max Scherzer to like 5 to 6 innings a start, I think they'll be okay going forward.
Um,
And the Blue Jays are doing this without Anthony Santana, the former Baltimore Orioles. They signed him to a big contract, and he's been out most of the year. He hasn't really been effective. So the Blue Jays have really done it without him. I'm not sure what Shapiro and Atkins are going to do. I wouldn't be shocked if the Blue Jays did make a move because they do have a good chance to do well in the playoffs. And one thing about the Blue Jays organization, they haven't won a playoff game in 9 years, Robbie. The last time they won a playoff game was the 2016 ALCS, the American League Championship Series against Cleveland. They lost that series, in 5 games? So they've lost 9 straight playoff games. So it's great what the Jays are doing right now, but it all comes down to playoff success. So I do expect the Blue Jays to make a move or two at the trade deadline. Whether it's a major or minor deal, I don't know yet.
um, when is the next Argonauts game for?
The next Argonauts game is on Friday, August 1st at 8 o'clock at Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg. Then the Argos will come back home to BMO Field on Saturday, August 9th at 3 o'clock. A Saturday, August 9th, 3 o'clock game. For those people watching in the States, if you want to come down to a game, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. You can get tickets at argonauts.ca, or you can watch it on CFL on TSN or TSN 1050 on the radio, or if you're in the States, CBS Sports Network. So, yeah, their next 2 games, Winnipeg this Friday night, 8 o'clock, which will be on CBS Sports Network and TSN. And then August 9th against the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Um, do you have any questions you wanted to ask the host?
Who are some of your other upcoming guests, Robbie?
Um, probably some uh Bills beat reporters, um, like Ryan Talbot, and also possibly Sal Capaccio.
What's the expectations in Buffalo this year? They feel that this team is a Super Bowl contender.
I mean, it if the team can stay healthy, I think they could be going to the Super Bowl. But
You really think they're ahead of Kansas City and Baltimore in the AFC and even Cincinnati?
I think the two tougher teams would be like Baltimore and Kansas City.
Gotta ask you this question. Josh Allen's been the Bills starter since 2019. He's a very talented quarterback. Whether I like him or not, he's a very talented quarterback, and he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and the Bills. Let's say the Bills have another good regular season and they crap the bed again in the playoffs. How much longer are you going to keep him? Like, he's not a rookie anymore. I tried telling Bill fans, this isn't 2019 anymore, where he lost his first playoff game to Houston on the road due to inexperience. Josh Allen has had a number of games and he's lost. He's lost to Cincinnati at home, he's lost to Kansas City at home. He's never won a playoff road game. Is this Josh Allen's last year in Buffalo if they can't get over the hump this year? Because to me, I know he's only, 27, 28 years old, but how many years is it going to take for him to get over the hump in Buffalo? And I'm not blaming it all on him. Obviously, the defense has let him down. Special teams has let him down. So I'm not blaming every single playoff loss on Josh Allen. But is his window closing if they don't win the Super Bowl or even get to the Super Bowl this year?
Um, I don't think it will, but like it if Allen can stay healthy this year and not get injured, I think the Bills will be like contending to go to the Super Bowl.
Josh Allen has been pretty healthy. I will say this. Josh Allen has been pretty healthy since he's been in the NFL. What happens if he gets hurt and he's out a couple games or long term, God forbid? What happens to the Bills then?
Then I think they would turn it over to like Mitch Trubisky and like
You're not
he's
you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Mitch Travinsky. So
no.
you get it's just like, hey, it's like with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. If he gets hurt, that's going to hurt their chances to repeat. I like Tanner McGee. I like him as a backup quarterback, but you want to keep your starting quarterback healthy. So I do agree if Josh Allen can stay healthy, the Bills will have a chance to win another division title, get back in the playoffs. But I want to know from Buffalo fans, let's say they lose again in the playoffs in the first round or the second round, how many more chances does he get? Like, we're not talking one or two chances. This is like what, 6 or 7 times he's been in the playoffs. So to me, I'm just curious from the Bills Mafia's perspective in the city of Buffalo. He I'm not, hey, it's a team game. It's not just on Josh Allen, but at some point you got to say, you know what? We're not going to ever win a championship with this guy. So look at Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly took them to 4 Super Bowls and never won a Super Bowl. So Josh Allen has the talent, but he hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs, Robbie. Regular season, fine. I know the one playoff game in Kansas City where they lost the 13 seconds game because of McDermott and the special teams. He was outstanding in that game, but he's had a lot of games where he didn't play that great. And playoff football, Robbie, is much different than the regular season. It's much harder. And I feel this is Buffalo's last chance to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC because eventually time and injuries and changes to the roster affect teams. It's like Kansas City. Eventually, Kansas City's dynasty is going to end, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Who's to say Kansas City is going to get back to another Super Bowl this year? It's very hard to get a Super Bowl. The Eagles have been to 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowls. I'm an Eagles fan, Robbie. You know I am. But there's no guarantees the Eagles are going to get back to the Super Bowl this year and win another Super Bowl. It's harder to be the champion than the contender. Everybody's going to be coming out of the Eagles. So, as for the Bills, I still predict. I think you're going to ask me this as well, and I'll give you my prediction. I keep thinking you guys play 18 games. You don't. You play 17, which is ridiculous. You guys should be playing 18 games like the CFL. So there's stuff that CFL does that the NFL should be following, and 18 games is what they should be doing. As for the Bills, I think this team in 2025 is going to win 11 games. I think they'll be 11-6. I think the Bills will be 11-6. And the Eagles this year, I don't think they're going to be 15-3 that like they were last year. I think the Eagles are going to probably be 12-5. I think the Eagles 12-5 and the Bills will be 11-6. But Robbie, pay James Cook the money. James Cook is one of the best running backs in football. He might not be as good as Saquon Barkley is, but James Cook to me is in the top 5 or maybe top 3 running backs in the NFL. I know Josh Allen's great, but he can't win without James Cook. You don't really have great receivers. You have some decent receivers, but James Cook is elite. And the Eagles last year, as good as a team they were, they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. And everyone's like, well, Barkley didn't have a great game in the Super Bowl. That's because Kansas City focused on Barkley, didn't focus on Hurts as a passer or Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert. So they kind of contained the Eagles' running game in that Super Bowl. But Philadelphia's passing game killed the Chiefs, absolutely killed them. And there's going to be times where the Bills, Josh Allen is going to be contained. It's not going to happen very often, but in the playoffs you need a running game, and James Cook to me, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know if Robin or Tia are watching this or any of your other friends, but to me James Cook's the best running back the Buffalo Bills have had since number 34, Thurman Thomas. And that even includes over LaShawn McCoy, who I like from the Philly days and Buffalo days. But pay James Cook what he's asking for long term because he can run the ball. He's improved as a pass catcher and he can block. And James Cook gives the Bills another element to their offense, in my opinion, Rob.
Yeah, and I think that like James Cook with Josh Allen, I think those two are like the one and the two. And then they got this other running back, Ray Davis.
I like him. He's not very big. Ray Davis is not very big, but he's fast. He's shifty. So I don't know if Ray Davis is capable of being a number one back, but James Cook, I'm saying this to everybody watching this show, sign James Cook, pay him the money. He is legitimate, and Philadelphia wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley last year. I'm not saying James Cook will get 2,000 yards like Barkley, but I think Cook stays healthy. I think Cook can have maybe 1,300 yards rushing this year. So to me, pay James Cook the money, Buffalo Bills.
And I agree with you because
I'm
think
not, and Robbie, you know I'm not a Bills fan, but I try to, as media, freelance media, I try to be objective. Obviously, I have my favorite sports teams, but I'm giving you my perspective of the Bills from the outsider. If I was a Bills fan or living in Buffalo, James Cook is somebody you want on this team long term, in my opinion. And I do like Ray Davis because he's a nice little throw up. He's a nice little back too that can help the Bills out as well. So I that's just my take on it. I think James Cook is probably their best offensive player besides Josh Allen. Obviously Josh Allen, but besides Josh Allen, James Cook is their best offensive player, in my opinion. And as for the receiver, we'll see if Keon Coleman can develop more because last year he was a rookie, and it's a lot to expect of a rookie. Even Devontae Smith as a rookie, he kind of struggled at times with Philadelphia. I think in his second year, I think if Keon Coleman can develop as a receiver who they drafted, I think if he can develop into a number one receiver, a very good receiver, that'll help the Bills too. So but right now, I'm looking at the Bills to be 11-6. I think they'll I think they'll win 11-6, and that might be enough to win the AFC East. I think the Jets are going to be last. I think right now in the AFC East, I would say Buffalo won. I think New England. I know Bill fans don't want to hear this, but with Mike Rabel as the head coach and Drake May and a healthy Stephon Diggs, I think the Patriots are going to be second in the division behind Buffalo, and then I think Miami will be third, and then the Jets will be in last place as usual.
um do you have any other questions or like a score update from BC?
Okay, yeah, I can give you one too. Just one second. I think they just finished the end of the third quarter. So, right now in the fourth quarter, 10:59 left to go in the fourth quarter. Hamilton 23, BC 23. So this game is probably going to come down to a last second field goal again. So 23 all with 10:59, and in the CFL 10:59 is a lot of time. So but Robbie, I want to say thank you for having me on your show to talk CFL, a little Major League Baseball, and we even talked a little bit about your Bills. Now, what jersey do you have on here?
It's an old
Is that Lee Evans?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
It's an old Lee
goodness.
Evans jersey, yeah.
That's 2006. That's a 2006 Lee Evans jersey. So
Yeah.
right now, if there was a player's jersey you were going to get for the Bills, who would it be?
Um Probably the edge rusher, what's his name?
Greg Russo? Greg
Greg
Russo?
Russo, yeah.
He did a little shout out on my video for my show, Greg Russo. So he's a good guy, and I appreciate that. What's a fun fact about Robbie Schneider?
Um,
And where's your Argonaut hat? You're supposed to be an Argo fan. Where's your hat? Nick sent you.
yeah, I have one from him.
And which logo is better, the Bills logo or the Argos logo?
I I like both. So
You like both? They do wear blue. They do wear the color blue.
yeah,
When are you going to
and
come to when are you going to come to your first CFL game in Toronto?
I mean, I I do have access to do it. So
Okay. Okay. Oh, by the way, for your audience, before I wrap this up, my email address is cpomay19@gmail.com. cpomay19@gmail.com. I have a website, beacons.ai. That's beacons.ai/Chris D. Pomay. And I have a YouTube channel, Chris Pomay Live with CDP Talk Show. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Threads. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I know you're on Blue Sky too, at Live with CDP19. So anyone watching this show and you want to follow me and support my work, just Google Chris Pomay and you'll see me there. And I also did some interviews. Robbie, are you going to play one of our interviews before I wrap up the show? Did you want to try playing one of the interviews? I interviewed John Haggerty, Kevin Mattel, and Ryan Dinwiddie last night after the Argos win 31-17 over Winnipeg. Bear with us, everybody. Robbie's going to see if he can play one of my videos they did last night. And I do a lot of freelance media work for the Toronto Argonauts. And I have a game night story coming up too. So when I'm done with Robbie, I have to finish up my game night story. Okay, I think we're going to play that. That's my YouTube channel. Yes. Yes, Robbie, that's it. Yeah, and just pick if you want to just pick any video, we can play it. Whatever video you want to. There's Ryan Dinwiddie. Yeah, that's Ryan Dinwiddie. Okay, this interview is with Ryan Dinwiddie, the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. Now you have to make sure the volume's turned on, Robbie. There's a audio switch. When you put the video on, it says there's a check mark for audio. I can see it fine. If you can't get the audio to work on it, Robbie, don't worry about it. This is Ryan Dinwiddie, the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts since 2021. He's won 2 Grey Cup championships in 3 years. He's won 49 football games with the Argos, so he's in the top 5. He's in the top 5 winningest head coaches in Toronto Argonauts history, and he's only been their coach for 5 years. And he played in the CFL as a quarterback with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2007, lost the Grey Cup to Saskatchewan. So Ryan played in the league. He knows what it's like to be a quarterback. And I think his biggest strengths as a head coach is he knows how to motivate the players and communicate. And he still can relate to them being a former quarterback and former player. He's very good with the media. And when he has to be tough and yell at the team, he can do that too. But usually he's laid back, but he has a side to him where if he needs to lay down the law, he'll do it. And this was done at BMO Field at the King Club, a little a private club for fans to watch the game. So they have the media scrum in there. And then after the game, I interviewed punter Josh Haggerty and wide receiver from Montreal, Kevin Mattel. So everybody, if you want to, Chris Pomay Live with CDP Talk Show on YouTube. Robbie, you did a good job with this. The only thing is when you share a video on StreamYard, there's an audio tab and you need to turn it on for audio. It's not a big deal, it's minor. I had to learn that the hard way too. So, but yeah, he just talked to the media for I don't know 6 or 7 minutes, and basically talked about how this was a complete game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and and some of their play calls too. And he also mentioned that Chad Kelly was going to be put on the 6 game list as well. So yeah, next time you do that, Robbie, when you share the video, you did that right. When you share the screen, you'll see below when it says share what do you want to share, you'll see the video. It'll come up as Chrome tab, window, and entire screen. But at the bottom, it'll say also share tab audio. Make sure that's checked into the blue mark. If you don't check that off, like move the little circle to the blue, then you won't hear the audio of the video, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just trying to
Sounds
help
good.
you. Just trying to help you out because when I do my shows, I usually like to share video. By the way, I have another show tomorrow. Is it okay, Robbie, to promote my show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Everybody knows I have 3 talk shows. But tomorrow night I have my other talk show, the Small Talk Podcast with Marlene Sharp and myself. It's a once a month podcast and entertainment show, and we're going to be on the air tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Eastern. With members of the God's Gain Animate cartoon series. I don't know if you know who they are, the God's Gain cartoon series on YouTube. So we're going to have approximately 5 guests with me and Marlene tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 on the West Coast. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Instagram, and on all major audio platforms. And then my next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, will be Wednesday, July 30th at 3 o'clock with my guest, Matrice Wagner. She is an actress, an American actress who's now in the UK as well. And then Thursday, July 31st, if you guys are WWE fans, I have a WWE super fan, huge fan of the WWE, and a Braun Breaker fan, Nikki Whitehorse, on my show Thursday, July 31st at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Robbie.
Sounds like you have a busy schedule coming up.
Yes, and I want to say, Robbie, thank you for having me on your show for the third time, 3 times. I think I've been on twice. I think I've been on twice by myself with you, and once with me and Nick. So thank you
Yeah.
for having me on your show. And yeah, after I'm done with you, I'm going to catch the end of the Hamilton BC game, and then I got to finish up my Toronto Argonauts game night story, which will be available on WordPress.com live with CDP, or just go to my social media sites and you'll see some pictures and my post game interviews on my article as well. I've got to get that done as well. But Robbie, I want to say thank you again for having me on your show, and please send me a link of this show as well.
Yeah. I'll post it out and then I'll send it to you.
Okay. No, I really appreciate it. And good luck to your Buffalo Bills this season. And make sure you get down to the ballpark for the Buffalo Bisons as well, Nick. Robbie, I called you Nick there. And the Argo Bounce podcast show with me and Nick will be back sometime this week as well. And I'll say hi to Nick for you. Okay, Robbie, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hope good luck to your Philadelphia Eagles as well.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds. And the Eagles are in Buffalo this year. Remember, the Eagles, the world champions, the Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts, will destroy Josh Allen and the Bills on December 27th. I don't know about destroying the Bills, but Eagles Bills, the last matchup in Philly was great where the Eagles won in overtime. I think that's going to be probably the best game in the regular season this year is the Eagles and Bills. I think December 27th in Orchard Park. Make sure you get down to a game this year as well, Robbie. Hey, continued success with your show, and some advice for you, Robbie. Just keep doing the show, be consistent, and just reach out to guests and just keep doing the show, and you're going to get better and better, Robbie. Thank you for having me on tonight, and thank you everybody for watching this show.
Thank you, Chris. And I'll see everyone on the next show of Someone Six Sports Blizzard.